Hi, everybody, and thank you for joining us for the August blessing. Oh my goodness, it's the end of summer already. Can you believe it? So, I don't know how much you keep track of what happens with the weather in and around southern Utah, but we have been in a tremendous drought. And now the big black clouds of monsoon are rolling in. And one of the things that really came to mind for me, especially as it relates to, I don't know, that buildup of pressure and the clouds rolling in, and thinking about our own emotions and how our emotions tend to build and swell, and then the product. What do we produce? We produce tears. And sometimes we can look up at the clouds, and when the rain starts coming, we almost feel a sense of relief, just the same relief that we feel when we let those tears flow. So I say, let it flow. And then I started looking at the science, right? The science behind tears and crying. And I found this really interesting. Tears, along with other emotions, sometimes remain an enigma. And did you know that the tears from grief and sadness are chemically different from the tears of joy? Grief-related tears contain more stress hormones and proteins. They help the body restore balance after a stressful and emotional event. Tears of joy may also relieve tension as well. Now, all tears contain electrolytes and salt, but emotional tears include sadness, joy, grief, and may also contain additional proteins and hormones. It's no doubt that weeping can create a sense of social bonding, but I believe it goes much deeper than this. Aside from the scientific analysis, there is this unexplained build of emotion, much like we've thought of before. You know, when we talk about how your bucket fills and then it empties, and then we feel somewhat wrung out and exhausted, crawling towards some comfort and peace within ourselves. And then slowly it begins to build again. Don't you find, I do, that the times between the release and the filling of the bucket becomes longer? And in that in-between space is where our hearts and minds begin to make our way to a place of acceptance and an embrace of the reality that this extraordinary love did indeed happen, and that the departure has now placed us into a new capacity. A capacity on how we relate to the loss and all of that love that just has nowhere to go. We'll pick up the pen and the paintbrush and channel that love, that caring, and all of those incredible memories into a new way of loving. We develop new ways of keeping them close. We'll seek new loves to capture that feeling of wholeness, the delight of feeling so in love, by giving a home to yet another little smoosh. Just because we know that's what our beloved would want us to do. We know there's no replacement, but a bold step forward, the bravest of all, and that is to love again, because our hearts can hold many loves at one time, those with us and those in our memories. I found these interesting little snippets about tears. Tears are simply the raindrops from the storm inside of us. Tears are how our heart speaks when our lips cannot describe how much we've been hurt. Tears shed for our animal companions are no sign of weakness. Sometimes they're a sign of unspoken happiness, and sometimes a smile is a sign of silent pain. So I say to you, let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. Open your heart, let it burst open, and let all the tears come out. Don't be afraid, don't be ashamed. Be a little vulnerable. It's okay. Until the next time, be well.
Hello everybody, my name is Josh. I am the manager here at Angels Rest. And for this month, in the month of August, it's gonna be a little different, our blessing, but I wanted to start off saying that August was a challenging month last year. We had one of our bad monsoon storms come through here almost exactly a year ago. And it did quite a bit of damage throughout the rest here, starting from the north end, and it worked its way to the nest and did some in the south. It also did some damage also in the Overlook, Angels Overlook along the road, all the sections in front of there. So for the past year, we've been working, our department, and also other employees here of Best Friends, a lot of volunteers, and we have all worked together, a maintenance department, to get back to pretty much where we used to be, and also doing some improvements along the way. So I wanted to stop and say thank you to everybody who helped during this rebuilding process since the storm of last year. It was quite the ordeal, but you know what, we're very proud the way it turned out. We still got a little bit of work to go, but for the most part, we're very happy how it all turned out. So again, thank you for everyone who's here and everyone who's out there watching. Thank you very much. Now this part of the program, I will read off some of the animals that have passed away here at the sanctuary for this month. In cat world, we lost Bibi, Sturgis, Chibi, Mao, Aggie, Storm, Darla, Hudson, Booker, Carlisle, Ollie, Tiny, Lemon, Serrano, Harvest, Deer, Toad and Cotton, Hugh, Jetty, Zagata, Tootsie, Charity, and Pocket. In Piggy Paradise, we lost Napoleon. In Horse Haven, we lost Tony and Rose. In Bunny House, we lost Sterling. In Dogtown, we lost Crash, Bunny, and Cedric. In Wild Friends, we lost Frost and Johnny. In Paragarden, we lost Rio, Hank, Miter, Blackbeard, Barnacle Boy, and Alfie. And for the tributes that were sent in, we had one sent: Joey, Puggle, Baby Boy, Soulmate, and Forever Loved. Misty, Abby, Chauncey, Tweet, Ladybird and Petey, Mel, Carter, Annie, Dean, Patsy and Buster, Kitty Cat, Phelan, and Sadie, Sunny, Ernie and Snail, Sissy, Connie, Winter, Lily, Mouse, Tess, Nina, Macy Blue, and Dandy.
My name is James. I am a caretaker here at Angels Rest, and I will be sharing some tribute stories that were sent in to us from animals that were lost this month. First, Tiny T. Whoever abandoned Tiny T in our neighborhood did us a great service. He turned out to be the gentlest, sweetest guy we've ever known. He wandered our streets for almost a year before we rescued him from animal control. He fit right into our lifestyle. He readily learned the leash for a daily walk and loved riding in the golf cart. He was quiet, never barked. He was never aggressive, and he socialized with all dogs and most people. We were blessed to have 12 love-filled years with him, and we miss him so. We are confident we will someday see him again. Wait for us, little T, Pam and Barry. And now Cece. Cece brought more joy and happiness to our lives than you can imagine. After 7 trips to animals in distress, we found the perfect cat. Beautiful, continually purring, very lovable, and just a wonderful personality. We were truly blessed. What a wonderful treasure for us to have. She was truly family. We mourn her loss over and over. Reggie Harder was the last one left at an adopt-a-thon event. The very best was saved for me and his two cat brothers. He loved everybody and riding in the golf cart. Reggie was a furry angel.
My name is Karen, and I am a local volunteer at Horse Haven here at Best Friends. This past month, as he said, we lost two horses, Tony and Rose, and I have some pictures that I want to show you. Rose was a Mustang mare who was rounded up by the Bureau of Land Management in one of their regular roundups, and then she was sold in 2022 to a private individual. She was surrendered to Best Friends about a year later. Beautiful Rose was still very much a wild horse. The senior trainer at Horse Haven worked very slowly and gently with her, and by this year, Rose had started to become more curious and more willing to interact with people. It was just a delight when you could actually get her to look at you for a couple of seconds. About 2 weeks ago, she had a very severe case of colic, sort of a digestive problem with horses, with severe pain. She allowed the staff to administer IV fluids and do all they could to help, but they determined the cause was fatal, and she was crossed at that time. That was about 2 weeks ago. And then earlier this week, we lost Tony. Tony was a 17-year-old Pinto gelding who came to Best Friends in 2016 through an agency that rescued him from severe abuse, which was visible across his body in temporary marks and in permanent scars. Like Rose, Tony enjoyed various horse buddies, but people, not so much. He warmed only to a few staff and a few volunteers, and that was over the course of his entire time here. Tony could be haltered and given basic hoof, dental, and medical care, skills that Rose continued to work on if the caregivers were gentle and patient. In the last 2 years, though, Tony became re-injured in interactions with other horses. And despite medical care and even surgery over in Las Vegas, it kept getting more painful for him to stand, and that made him susceptible to other injuries and wounds. The progression was not a positive one, and after careful thought, he also was crossed. All the horses and donkeys and mules and ponies and mini horses at Horse Haven are given the very best care possible and much love from the staff and the volunteers, the local volunteers and the visitor volunteers alike. Not all of them will reciprocate that affection, and that's okay. One of the things I appreciate about Horse Haven is that each one of them is respected for who they are, regardless of how they came here or how their journeys unfold here. It was an honor to be part of that with Rose and Tony. I'm glad I got to share a little bit of Rose and Tony with you. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Shirley. I'm from Rhode Island. This is my Joey, which is also my tattoo. A year ago in August, he passed away at 17 and a half years old. He was my ride or die, my everything, my rock. I had him for 17 and a half years, and I was blessed to have him for that long. 20 years wouldn't have been enough. He's helped me through everything, and this experience coming here today was a gift for me to honor his memory. So my first time here, and it's absolutely beautiful, and it's been a pleasure meeting everybody. And I have the ceremony tomorrow for him. So thank you.
I'd like to read for you a poem by Sally A. Kane called The Life of a Tear. I try to hold the tears at bay, but they tumble down my cheeks, carving pathways across my face, fighting to be free. Liquid drops of salty sadness, bearing themselves to the world, in hope that their journey will have a meaning before they are gone. Their essence is smeared across my skin, the wetness a temporary reminder that they ever existed. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next month for our All Souls Blessings. We sure hope you can be there. If not, join us on the recording. Take care.